All right, Miss Whitney, your podcast debut.
Boom. Okay, so I don't know if you know, but I am Aaron Cordovez's wife. I am the co-owner of Zulai Kitchen. We have been building this company together since the past 8 years.
2015.
Okay? It's been literally 8 years. When our first daughter was born, she was 3 months old, and that's when we started the company. Okay? And so what a lot of people don't know is how it all started. It's very easy to see the success and how we're doing now, and that's all amazing. But not many people know the estimation of effort required in order to actually start something. So we wanted to bring to light some points so that we can maybe help other people to embark on this kind of a journey that would hypothetically possibly having the ability to generate millions. You never know what is going to happen, or hundreds of thousands, or thousands, whatever it is that you want. But the beginning part is something that isn't talked about very often. So, you understand?
Sure. The first thing is, doesn't matter how many things you failed at before Amazon, or even Amazon. There's just because you failed at something once doesn't mean you failed at the next one. And so right before we started Amazon, I tried this like SEO course. I paid $2,500 for a course, did it, put a bunch of time, wasted a bunch of time, made like $100 a month after putting in hundreds of hours. It was really quite a disaster, and that failed. I tried to do affiliate marketing. That also failed. I tried to do a bunch of stuff. I even forgot some of them, but like, whatever, just, I even tried to do Uber. Like, I failed at Uber. Like, somehow no rides were coming my way. Like, I literally was like driving Uber. I'm like, why doesn't, I'm horrible at Uber. Like, I was trying to make some extra money at night, and I'm like, I would have the app on for like 4 hours, and I get like one ride. And like, I can't even do Uber. So, point is, Amazon was just one more chance.
This
like,
is really true.
Let me try the next opportunity. You know what I mean? And so happened to be Amazon.
And mind you, all of these trial and error situations occurred after the normal 9 to 6 job or 9 to 5 job. Just so everybody understands that properly.
Well, that's not actually true. Hold on.
At the beginning, I was working. I was the one working. Okay, I had the 9 to 5. And he was at home, nothing. And he was doing actually nothing. He was literally at home playing video games.
It's true.
All right?
It's true.
Literally. Well, I was the one working, okay? And
I was deadbeat. Deadbeat. No.
But I wanted to have I wanted to start a family. I wanted a family, okay? And
I wanted a family maybe like in 10 years when we made some money.
Yeah, but listen, guys, I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually 7 years older than Aaron. So there's no way I was going to wait 10 years. Okay? So.
It's true. She put the Whitney on me. The Whitney. That's her name. It's not Whitney. It's the Whitney.
No, I'm not. It's not like I'm a mean person.
Listen, that whip can crack softly or it can crack hard.
It's okay.
It doesn't,
okay.
It can be hard or soft. But here's the point. I was on my ass and I told her I'm going to make a bunch of money online. I promise you. We're going to make a bunch of money. We're going to get rich.
It's true. He said that.
I did. So we're going to get rich. Promise you. But what happened is I was doing this course about how to do like link building, right? And like this. And I would buy these domains. It was a little complicated procedure. And I was like, it's going to go. But then somehow I would spend like an hour on that. And then I would like had my phone and I had just started getting to video games again. And so I'm like, let me just do 5 minutes. Thing. And then like the game is like really addicting because like it says like you can do something every like 10 minutes because it resets. So then like in 10 minutes I'll be like, let me just start it and then I'll let it go. And then it would like, it's like creeping up on me. And the next thing you know, like, oh my gosh, it's 5 o'clock. Whitney's coming home. I'm like, I think I worked like an hour. I worked like 2 hours. Like it started like I would maybe play video games like 2 hours and then it became 3 hours. And at one point I'm like, I feel like I worked like an hour a day during the 9 to 5 and she's supporting the family and I'm at home literally playing video games. It was a disaster. But it was not being motivated, not being whatever. It didn't help me to fully focus on my side hustle because then it just became my focus on everything else. Mm-hmm. And then she'd come home, I'd play more video games, she'd watch movies, and we were just We weren't really.
We weren't being dedicated,
It
okay?
was-
Neither of us were. Neither of us were being dedicated, but I was working. He really wasn't. All right?
It's true.
So-
it's true. But I told her, I said I was gonna make it. And so
you did a great job.
later on I did, but it took a while.
So this is the beginning. You're hearing all the nitty-gritty details. If you're not interested, you can just go, because we're just getting into the nitty-gritty details still. So but I think if you want to, if you're into starting your own business, this is how we did it. This is what we did.
Fail and falling many times.
We failed at several things. And as a wife and as the partner, even if I thought this business venture was completely retarded and like absolutely not going to work, and I don't see how is that going to scale to be millions of dollars, because that was what we wanted, right?
Oh, so but wait, can I pause, because we skipped the part?
Okay.
So before it was like, no, I'm gonna make it on Amazon. No, after I was at home dragging my ass doing nothing, it was like, you got to get a job. Did you tell me that, or did I do? How did that happen? Do you remember?
That's because I wanted to have a baby, and your mom helped me handle you.
So I had to go get a job.
That's one of the reasons why the company is named after Zulai, is because she's the number one person that helped us in our life when we were first starting out. Like, we were starting out about 9 years ago from nothing. We literally had no credit. We had to get a co-signer to get an apartment. We had nothing.
$1,200, right?
Yeah, $1,200 a month, our apartment. And that was 9 years ago. And even our car in California, even our car. So the car that we had, our Prius, was purchased because his mother helped us.
That's true.
Okay? And during the time period where I was working, his mother was helping subsidize $2,000 a month for Aaron Cordovez, so that he could not work and focus on the other, entrepreneur stuff. But we learned very quickly
that didn't work.
That didn't work.
Subsidizing did not. It
didn't
kind of
work,
a disaster.
because then he was using that time to play video games and doing other things.
It did.
And you know what the amazing thing is that he saw that himself. He originated when his mom helped me talk to Aaron and was like, listen, Aaron, what's the worst thing that could happen? What did she...
So hold on. So what happened is, at some point, I think I already had a job when we were having that conversation, no?
No.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I don't remember exactly. So maybe it wasn't. So I went to get a job after that conversation?
That's right. That's why you did.
Oh, I don't remember that. I thought you just like were smacking me like, hey, you're not doing anything. Get to work. What was it for the baby?
Yes.
Okay. I don't exactly remember, but I guess that's what she's saying. I don't know. So, okay. So then we had that conversation. Said, what's the worst that could happen? That's true. So I said, my mom told me, like, what about the baby? And I said, no, we're hardly making any money now. We can't do anything. How can I support a baby? How do we support a baby? If we have a baby, she's gonna... It just mathematically didn't make sense with the daycare, with all this, the diapers or whatever. And so she said, listen, what's the worst that can happen? And I said, I guess the baby's on the street. We're living under a bridge. I was thinking that's going to happen. She said, no, it's not going to happen. If that happens, you go to Miami and live in our house.
Literally. But I have to say, that offer that she made to us, that we could go and live at her house, and she had zero, like, upset inside. You could feel that she was very happy.
Open to do it.
She was very happy to be able to do that for us.
And it was like having a parachute on.
So, but she is the only family member that would have made that offer. His father wasn't in a position where he would be able to invite us to go stay with him. My mother wasn't in a position where she would be able to invite us to go stay with her. My mother was living in a single bedroom, renting from somebody's house. And his father was literally living in a strip mall. Okay?
Was that not at that time? That was later. That was before. That was a small period of my dad's life. I'm just saying.
Okay, and my father definitely had the means to be able to offer us to live with him, but he didn't.
It's more Persian culture, so he's like kind of more hard and like.
He was very hard. He was like, "No, you guys figure it out. This is your life. You're gonna learn the hard way." That was his idea. So that allowed Aaron to feel confident that we could start a family.
And I guess in theory, then that's when I went to go look for a job. So basically, after 3 months of making zero money. And mostly playing video games, then I was like, okay, I can't do this myself. And this is, people sometimes think like having a job will take away from your business entrepreneurship, but it's not actually true. Getting a job where you're going to have a routine and the schedule and a boss and learning from someone who's actually making money and has a business is crucial. It's vital to learning business, because you by yourself, I tried it. My full focus on doing a business. Well, I was one, distracted like crazy, and two, I have no mentorship and I have no discipline, no schedule, and it's a disaster. So when I got on the job, you have a schedule, you have the stuff, you have a competition, you have peers, and you're going and you talk to the owners and, hey, what did you do? And you have that connection, that community. And then from there, then you were pregnant and I had,
And I was going to have to quit at some point, right?
So then we go, okay.
Because I wasn't making that much money.
We're both making around $20 an hour. You're making 22, and I was making 20, something like that.
Yep.
All right, 22, whatever, 20 plus bonuses.
Plus bonuses was around 25.
So I was at 20. Okay, so I said, okay, if she has to be with the baby, I'm at $20 an hour. It cannot happen. In California, $20 an hour with the baby, it just did not work. So at that point, that's when, what else can we do? And before Amazon, it actually came the programming.
That's right.
Because in the programming school is the fastest way for me to get to a point where I would be able to survive. Would be able to actually pay for the baby's like daycare and just live.
Yeah.
And so that programming, that's a whole different chapter.
He's so competitive. He literally got himself into this programming boot camp. Where the percentage, I think, was like, what is the percentage of people that get in?
3.5%, 4.5%.
3.5% out of all the applicants that apply to this programming boot camp. Which one was it?
App Academy.
App Academy. It's in San Francisco.
And I quit my job before I got in, which I don't recommend, but the time was ticking. Like when you were maybe 4 or 5 months pregnant, I'm like, okay, I got to do this programming school. Yeah. And the thing takes 3 months, and you got to get in. And so the timing, it was crazy. So I said, I have to quit today, study full-time for 2 weeks, take the test in 2 weeks.
And literally his mother helped us also with that too.
Yes, at that point, yes.
Because his mom had her back.
My income, I told my mom, I said, listen, this programming school is how I'm going to make money. I'll get like a better job, more than $20 an hour. But I'm going to have to do this. Can you help us survive during that time period? So that is true. At that point, I think she gave us a monthly then, not before. But
no, what do you mean?
She'd support, like whatever my income was. She's like, good, I'll help you do the class, and she paid for
your half. It's true. But she also did before too. Yes, because we didn't make enough money just from my income to pay for our expenses.
I thought we did.
When you were not working, no, we didn't.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So, but that was that was. Anyways,
okay.
The point is
so that happened, and then I did this class. It was like 1 month to start, 3 months in, and I still didn't have a job. Now I had zero job, not even my $20 an hour job. She goes into labor. I'd done a few interviews. I'd done 226 applications. I don't know how many phone calls. Zero job offers. We're in the hospital, and I go, did I make a humongous mistake? I can't get my job back. I don't know. Oh, crazy, the baby contractions. Right? And then tell it from your viewpoint. What was happening then during labor? How did that whole thing happen? Because I say that story many times, and I feel like I don't know if I've heard your side.
Okay. Well, from my side, I've never had any doubt in my mind that we would not make it. Just so everybody is understanding this, because before I married Aaron,
she believed for both of us. Yeah,
I did. Like, the reason why I knew we needed to have a baby is because I had no doubt in my mind that we would make it. If Aaron needed that extra cushion of his mother, because obviously she definitely would have our back, which I always knew. But at the same time, like, we together, I know that we could make something big, okay? And I know that we could bring very good value in whatever we would do, because we both have an ability to be very dedicated and very regimented, and basicbasically. But in regards to that story specifically of the boot camp, so the fact is, if he was one part of the 3% of the people that could actually get into that boot camp, there's no way he is not going to be able to get a job. Like, I had zero doubt in my mind. It was just a matter of time. And I could see he was so dedicated. Literally, he would sit at the desk for 8 hours straight doing applications. He did hundreds and hundreds of applications for literally a week and a half before I was in labor.
Everyone with a cover letter, researching the company. It wasn't just like spam out the stuff. Like, every single one had like a full cover letter about the company, why I like that company, this, like the full deal. It's not like cookie cutter. I send out 200 applications on Monster.com.
That's
no,
correct. No, he
that
put a lot
application
of love and care. Anything that he has done and that he does, he puts his heart into it.
Especially the video games.
It's true. Even on, I'm not kidding though. It's true. Even on the video games, Aaron. Because any video game he plays, he's so freaking competitive that he literally like makes himself like stay focused on it so that he can get to number 1. I have to get to number 1. That's how he is, and that's the way he is also with Amazon. So like he treats it like a freaking video game. Anything he does in life, he wants to be number 1. It's like he's got it in his blood. Okay. So anyways, the point is, I never had any doubt in my mind. So even if I was in labor, I had zero worry. I wasn't in anxiety. I wasn't in, like, I didn't have any annoyance. I just knew it was going to be okay. But I know
what happened? So then what happened? You're in labor.
So I was in labor. Yeah, he was in labor. So anyways, I was in labor. And, he was there with me, and all of a sudden he looked at his phone and there was a message, and he was like, Whitney, I have an offer. I got a job. And I was like, that's great. I mean, I could care less, really. I could fucking care less at that point. I was like, I don't need to be fucking hearing this right now. I'm in labor. But okay, great. It was, I didn't, the reason why I didn't care about it that moment is because that was never a worry for me. I was not worried about that.
Wow.
I did not have a concern about it.
Wow.
To me, it was really a matter of time before that job offer came in.
Interesting. That's why you didn't really care, because for you, I was already in the bag.
That's right.
I was like taking I was like, I really didn't know if I had to go back and
I had
tried
so much
number
confidence.
2 on Uber. You know what I mean?
I had so much confidence. There was no way that was going to happen. And the thing is that, I mean, Uber, it's okay. It's just not your niche.
I know, but I'm just saying, I didn't know that I was going to get a job.
Uber,
I did not know I was going to get a job.
There's no competitive move in Uber.
Yeah. Well, there could anyway.
There could have been, I guess.
But okay, anyway, on the programming, so that job, it came in at 105,000, which is almost triple what I was making before, and that was in a span of like 4.5 months, 5 months. And I really didn't know it was going to happen. And then in the end of the day, somehow we're able to negotiate to 120 because actually the birth. I don't know if you know why that. Do you know how that happened? You know how
because they wanted you to stop looking for jobs.
Yes,
because you're so amazing.
But no.
She wanted you to sign the contract.
So here's what happened. Okay, it was a startup. Okay, and I don't know if I could talk about it. Right? I don't have any NDAs. So anyway, there's a company called Ditto, and they did a virtual try-ons. It still kind of exists, but it got a merger. And anyway. Cool company, virtual try-on for glasses. And so they gave me the offer, and I didn't sign it right away. Because that was like Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, something like that. And on Monday, my profile was going to go live on a website called Hired.com. And on Hired, you apparently get like an amazing job offers, and it was like, it's the top hiring platform at that time. So I told them, hey, I'm having the baby right now, let me get back to you in like a week, whatever. But Monday comes around, and Ditto was hiring on Hired.
Oh.
So we're at home with the baby. This is 3 days, baby's like 3-4 days old, right? Luna. 5 days old, I don't know how old, but we're at the house.
Yeah.
And they call me, and this lady's pissed. And she goes, you didn't have the job offer because I just saw your profile come up on Hired. You're lying to us, right?
Why did she say you were lying?
Because I said I need to hold on the job offer because I'm having a baby.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
So, that was maybe possibly a partial lie. I mean, that was why, but if I wasn't going hard, I would have signed that thing like at the speed of lightning. Anyway, so, she kind of got me, but I'm like, listen, yes, it's true, I just went up, but I just also had a baby, like, give me some slack. And then they said, listen, this is what she asked me. She said, I don't know if you know the story or no. You remember this?
No, but I mean,
so over here. Okay, so she said, what would it take for you to take down your profile? This is Monday, had just gone up. Take down your profile and sign. That's what we want you to do. So I said, oh my God. I guess they really want me this. and actually on Hired, I already knew there was like one or two requests on Hired. It wasn't like crazy. So I said, we're going to go with these people. So I wrote them back or called them. I forgot how it was. And I said, 120. I'm signing right now. And she said, 120, this, blah, what? And I said, yeah, that's I will just turn off right now, sign it right now in like the next 5 minutes, like actually 30 seconds. She said, I'm going to talk to the CTO, the Chief Technical Officer, which is Sergey, Russian guy. And so she got off the phone, coming back a few minutes later, she's like, okay, we'll do it. Here's the offer, you have it in your inbox. Sign it right now. I said, absolutely, I'm signing that bad boy. So then I went and I signed it and went in. But here's the thing though, and here's what I learned in that job and how it helps on Amazon. See, at one point I was like floundering this. No, now I got that salary. I better work my ass off so hard, outwork everybody.
It's true.
So I will never be fired.
And it was my job also to not text him, not message him. Don't, like, obviously we had a newborn baby, so it wasn't necessarily the easiest for me. But, you know, there was something that Aaron always said to me is like, you sacrifice now for a more beautiful future. So I just owned being at home, taking my kid out every day, taking her for walks, meeting all the business owners in the little city. We lived in Alameda at the time. Alameda is an island right off of near Oakland, California, and right across the bridge from San Francisco, California. And so I would walk into Alameda literally every single day. And I wouldn't be messaging Aaron, telling him my problems, telling him how the baby's crying or she's not sleeping or I'm exhausted. I didn't give him any of my bullshit. It was hard.
She was having a great time. I mean,
he never knew. He literally never knew until years later. I did not tell him. Because what is he going to do about it? He's not going to do nothing about it. He needs to focus on the job because he had this amazing opportunity. And
they took a chance on me, right? Mm-hmm. And even, you know, I felt like I had to deliver way more on the job than I was getting paid. So way more. So I was like working extra, putting more time, studying later, studying at night, doing like putting in whatever we can and like delivering so much more. And in fact, we had a review, like the one-on-one talk with the Sergey, the Chief Technical Officer, like 3 months in, and he's like, we're extremely impressed with what you've done in this. And I was like, oh. Like I couldn't tell. I'm like working so hard, like every second, every minute, pushing the opposite of before the baby.
I know.
Right before, I mean, it was
true.
I was like on fire, like scared every moment. Like I have to deliver so much because this is my first job. I don't know what to expect. I have no idea, and I have to running at full pace on my first job. Hopefully, I'll catch up to the guys. And they were like, "Well, we're really happy with you. Really like well." And I had done like a full site. I did the virtual try-on. Anyway, we didn't get into all the details, but like. We did the rental glasses and stuff. Set up a whole program, did a bunch of stuff. It was cool. But in that crucible or whatever, in that moment, in that like pot of activity was when Amazon started, because at that point when okay, I'm making 120,000.
But not only that, he was also doing some classes that were going to help him to be a better person, right?
Yes.
At nights. So that was, not that he was a bad person, but everybody wants to be better, right?
Of course.
Right. Yeah. Even like most people want to be better. No matter where you're at right now, usually. I would like to be a better person, even where I am right now.
Sure, of course.
So he was doing some classes at nights. Monday,
I would come home at 10:30.
Yeah, nights and weekends. He was not there too. So literally, I was with the baby all day and night, and he would come home at 10:30 at night, and then from 10. So when Luna was 3 months old is when we started the Amazon business. He had just started his new job.
Yep.
He was doing
April 2015.
And Luna was born in June. No, January. Sorry.
So again, from January. Now, January happens, I started like January 20th or 22nd or 25th, whatever. End of January. Right after Luna was born. I think I took 1 week, right? 1 week with the baby? Or 2 weeks? 1 week, I think. Mm-hmm. Maybe 2.
No, it was 1
January
week.
22. Okay, January 22nd. Hit the job, okay? A week after she's born. And running. But now, I get paid for, you know, that little bit of January, February, March, and I go, this is not enough money. It's not like California, the taxes, everything. You're like, we got to do something else. And at that point, a friend had pitched me to sell on Amazon.
Yep. That's what our schedule looked like at that time. So he was at work during the day, and then from 7 to 10 he was doing his studies Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends he was gone from 9 to 6. And then so when he would come home by 10:30 at night on weeknights, we would usually talk for a minute, and then it would be from 11 to 12 o'clock or 11 to 1, depending, every single day. And it was obviously a sacrifice. And we would work together. We would sit on the computer. I would be sitting next to him. I would be supporting him. And he wanted me to also, during the day, I would be watching the tutorial videos about how to sell on Amazon as well. And so it was
1 hour a day. When you have a discipline, you have a schedule, you're in a routine, you're talking to people, making startups, you're in that area, 1 hour a day on Amazon can do so much more than starting some other business full time. Like, me having a job only made it better because I am having the discipline. I'm seeing what it takes to actually make a business do well. What do I have to push? What do people care about? How do you talk to the customers? All this kind of stuff is very important. Like, learning that. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I only have an hour. So that hour better be so productive. I better be doing the exact things that matter. Like, okay, getting that product, doing this stuff. I can't waste an hour. Before I had so much time to waste. I'm just wasting the time. So there's some sort of law or principle or something that says, like, you put them on the time and that's how long it's going to take you. So an hour. That's what we had. 1 hour a day. But it was like making progress every single time. 1 hour, maybe 2 hours, whatever. Sometimes the weekends be 3 or 4 hours. But making that time, even though we didn't have time, you know what I mean? Like, there was no time, but actually it was infinitely more productive than when I was taking my whole time, because then obviously I wasn't doing anything.
right. And then the other thing is, like, I had a budget. I could only spend $20 a week for extracurricular things like clothes or shoes or things like that, including for the baby. So I got very, very smart about how I spent those $20. And, this is like very nitty gritty. I'm just giving you a flavor.
It's good.
I'm giving you a flavor as to how we lived our life, okay? And how we got to where we are today, and on our mindset, and how we worked, because it's real.
Yeah, because now we didn't just have to. Now we're selling on Amazon, but actually it takes more money.
We had to invest.
It takes more money. So our credit cards started going up more because you go, okay, the first product was $1,000. The course was $4,000 or $5,000 with the $1,000 rebate or whatever. Packaging was like $300, whatever. Like, so we're maybe, I don't know, 7, 8 grand in, to put it 10 grand. But now it's starting to sell. You don't make money. You have to put more money in. Now you got to do the reorder. That's going to be like another $15,000.
So we had to put an additional $15,000 out of our own pocket into that company.
So there's no way you could can have my Amazon support my life. No way.
So even
the business needs more money. So like now I got to work just as hard or harder in my day job, and not spend it on anything, so that money could go then into Amazon.
So our finances were so strict. We literally, we had, if we went out to dinner, which we had allocated to do if we wanted to once a week, and if we did, we would only be able to order 2 things. Our bill could not be more than $60. So that was how we operated, even though at that time we were making, as he said, $120 a year. But so this was our mindset. We had to have like very strict discipline on that. There was an exact amount that we could spend on groceries, like it wasn't
all
easy,
the money
but
was
the
going,
mantra,
all the money was going to the products, the ads, a new photographer. I would have no problem spending money on a photographer, on images, on
true.
Can we do a video,
or revamping the packaging.
Yeah, doing new packaging.
I won't ever forget that.
Whatever.
How much was it for that?
It was like $300.
Literally, it was $300 for the package designed for this guy. Okay.
Because there was a guy in my job.
Like,
that was a bit of a mistake. So there was a guy in the startup. Yeah. Anyway, Tom. Okay, this guy's named Tom, and I'm like, hey, could you do a design? But see, at the time, I I thought, how much is the design? The guy's gonna work on it in an hour. He'll charge me like maybe $50. Okay, cool. I'm cool with it. So he does the
It was
design.
supposed to be 500.
Yeah,
right?
so he does it. It looks fine. I said, okay, cool. How much is it after it's done? So that's a mistake. I was like, but we never talked about it. He's like, oh yeah, so normally I charge at least like $550, maybe $600. And I'm like, $600? Why didn't you tell me that? Like, are you kidding me? Like, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, like the guy is making a bank at this startup. An amazing designer, and I guess that's what he charges. But I had no idea, and I go, dude, that's like like you could just take it back.
All we
I don't need
knew
your
about
packaging,
was
dude.
Fiverr. Okay, that's all
$5
we knew about at that time. Like something that we never knew that like a package could cost $300,
No,
$600. So he came home. He was like so like worried. He was like,
because it's done. I can't just reject it anyway. And I said, look, I don't know how much. Like that's too much. Like, can I pay like, dude, I don't know, like $250. Like, he's like, tell you what, give me $300. I'll be okay with it. We're not gonna do other stuff, but like we can end it here. It's okay, $300. I was like, okay, good. Because every dollar, like, that's the money to make more money. The most important thing on the budget was that promotion, products, stuff like that. Because then in the future, like now, okay, we could buy things cash. That's a long time in the future. But the idea is planning for that. How do you get to a point where you can spend a lot of money on things that you want? Whatever is, well, all your budget goes towards making more money, until at the end of the day, now we live on whatever.
so I have to say the mantra,
percentage
like
of
what
income.
got me through was like, what's that thing you always used to say? Pay the
This is a grant
sacrifice
Pay the price
now.
today to pay any price tomorrow. That's
Right. And then you would tell me that because you would also when you were traveling on the train from Alameda to the city every single day, you'd be listening to podcasts.
That's true.
And you'd be listening to audiobooks.
It's true at that time. Yes.
And
I'll say like driving. So driving, either in the metro or what do you call it? The subway. Subway here. In Spanish, it's el metro.
okay.
Anyway, so on the subway
It's the
and
BART.
driving,
The BART.
yeah. So I listened to like 10x Rule multiple times, Sell or Be Sold multiple times, Be Obsessed or Be Average. I don't think was out yet, but like every other book, like all of the Grant's book, because I go, the whole idea of like 10x is bigger. Like we can't just live on selling 50 lemon squeezers a day. No, we gotta get way higher there. And he always said too, like, and not that I was going to, but I think it's just a point that people need to know. You do not quit your job. Do not quit your job because you're cutting your income. Now that your income's up, now you're going to cut your income. It's a bad idea. So fully focused on my job and fully focused on the new business. And even in the company too, I'd be like, people bought it, the lemon squeezers there. I'd be like, hey, look at this. And I bring it in and show it to people and they would buy. So whatever. The point is that the focus was full, everything. To then at some point you you want to mess around and spend a bunch of time wasting time, whatever. That can happen later when everything's taken care of. And so
Yeah. So, so that was at the very beginning, and also you need to understand as well, because you don't need to unless you want to, but I'm just saying it's a good thing to understand is that the first 3 years of the company's life, we didn't take $1 out of the company.
It was 2 years though.
Really?
Yeah. It was from
I think
April
it was
2015,
two and a half.
and I quit my job June 2017. That's when we made our first
So
hires.
it's 2.5.
Yeah,
2 and 3 months.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I know she gets upset when I tell her, but it's not 3 years. So
No, I'm
it
not
is 2 years.
upset.
Oh, okay, good. You're not upset. Okay, good, perfect. Then we're all good.
So it's 2 years.
2 years from April 2015 to June 2017 is when like I handed my resignation. Like
So it's a sacrifice. It was a 2-year sacrifice of every single
not one penny.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
Every single night.
Yes.
And every single weekend.
Yes, all the time.
Literally no vacations, no movies. It was fucking intense. But I always had that mantra about, you sacrifice now for a more beautiful future. So
And the idea was literally up until that time. So that time July was doing about in revenue. I told Whitney, I said, listen, I think maybe I'll be able to like quit my job and go full time. And she's like, okay, whatever you think is right or whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know. I was thinking any day we're like $60,000 a month, $80,000 a month. And I go, when is this going to disappear? This is not like a real business. Like, I don't know. It's like, this is a fad and the big companies are going to take notice and like take us down. I was waiting for everything to disappear up until that last one. And I said, okay, here's the deal. 3 months every single month selling 100,000, right? Then I'll quit my job. Until then, because otherwise, yeah, you make 100,000 one month, you quit your job, and then it goes down. So June is when that happened, or May, or whatever it was, and then I quit in June, and that was like $100,000 a month, and we had no employees at that time, or just Norman. Not even. I think
No, we
Norman
had
us
nobody.
zero.
It was just me and you.
Just us.
Yeah.
Okay, for $100,000 a month, and at that time we had taken $0 out of the company and probably put in 35 or 40,000.
Yeah.
In like that's where all the money was going, because we're making okay money, like that's, but the business would take literally 40 grand, and I don't have all the accounting on that because Wells Fargo doesn't go back more than 7 years.
Oh.
So I couldn't see exactly how much, but I remember on the cards we were doing balance transfers, getting invoice payments, all sorts of crazy stuff, and I want to say we first didn't take a single dollar out, and we put in maybe 40,000,
Right.
which is, that's not like, whoo, we're making, and then at that point, okay, we have that much, like we're making 100,000, we'll try to take the same amount from that company to live on. Yeah.
Yes. So, but also what helped us a lot at the beginning, another thing is Aaron's mom, Sulai, she basically also helped us get our first house. And at that time, we didn't have enough income shown, like enough time, because Aaron had only had his job of making 120,000 for about 2 years, and I think we needed
Less than 2 years. I think it was,
Less
you
than
needed
2
2
years?
years. It wasn't full two
so
tax
it
years.
hadn't been 2 full tax years yet, and because our daughter was, I guess, a year and a half at that time, so Zulai had to co-sign with us on that first house. And she also helped us with the down payment because we were putting so much money into the business. We didn't have the money to do that. But that helped us greatly because we were able to get into a place.
Our expenses went way down.
They
the
went
mortgage
way
was
down.
Like $700 a
So
month.
that's the biggest. That was
$700
a
a
very
month.
big deal. So figuring out how to cut our expenses back, so we were able to continue to reinvest into the company.
Yep. It's true.
Reinvest the money into the company, and also invest the money that the 9 to 6 job was making as well.
That's right, replacing that. And then for the next episode, right around that time is then when we got our first lawsuit. Actually, only lawsuit. But that'll be for next time.
Oh my gosh.
We should.
That was literally right after he quit his job. Okay?
It's not all rainbows and butterflies, folks. So we're going to tell that story. I think this is good for now.
1 month later!
Yeah, it was.
We
it was
almost
really
lost
bad timing.
everything.
It was really bad timing. But again, if we didn't have the cushion of like, hey, we're making $100,000 a month, this would have totally crushed us because it took really everything. It was crazy. So we'll go there for next time. For now, Whitney, thank you for doing this and sharing your insights.
Let's see. Hopefully it will help somebody. Okay, peace.